Oh, okay.
Set that up.
Most IT guys would have had this done already. You're not most IT
Just
guys.
for that, she's gonna shut us off completely, so
That's okay.
Yep, just for that, I'm shutting you down.
There it is. There you are, live.
You ready?
All right, you're live.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
The United States of America, to the republic, which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
justice for all.
Item 2, any public participation? Approval of the meeting, the special meeting dated January 13th, 2021.
I make a motion.
Motion from Bill,
Second.
second from Don. Any further discussion? Hearing none, move, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 4A, Superintendent's Report, Garrett.
You hear me all right?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay. Our average daily flow was about 2.5 million gallons a day. We had a peak flow of 3.1. All of our numbers look pretty good. We were a little high in the nitrogen because of the temperature influx in January. It was a little hard to chase it around. Got another incident-free month for safety. Didn't have any accidents. Chemicals are about the same. No noise complaints. No odor complaints. For grease, we had 100 pounds at Upper Route 8, 110 on Lower, 80 on River Road, 90 at Lattice Place, and 90 at Meadowlark.
Is that a typo? It's the exact same number.
Yeah.
Preventive maintenance was the same. Corrective maintenance, we pulled all the jets out of the band screens and cleaned them. Got to replace the main bearing on the band screen. A bushing on the 24-hour sampler on the pump. And,
When's the last time you guys did the maintenance in the bar screen? I thought that was like recently, Garrett. That remember going down there and you guys were doing something over the summers. How often do you have to do all that maintenance in the bar screen?
Well, we did the first year. We did a factory maintenance, and we had a problem with a bearing, and it was under warranty, and they replaced it. And then we had a problem with this bearing on the second one also, which wasn't under warranty. It's the main carrier bearing. I don't know why they're failing. We're lubing it properly according to the O&M. They just both bearings gave out, collapsed. So we replaced the second one because it wasn't under warranty.
Is there some unusual stress or strain on that bearing?
No, I don't think so, because when they came and checked it last year under the factory specs, everything was good. It just, I really don't have an answer as to why it's failing.
Okay.
We upgraded the level controls at the Bridgeport Ave pump station. They're about at the end of their life. They were starting to fail, causing erratic pump operations. We upgraded it to newer electronic equipment. And also a 24-volt power supply at the Baird Sawmill pump station. As far as future work, I believe you should have a handout with this about the generator. I sent it to Lori. It should be 4 pages. It should be separate from the report.
No, don't have it. So just talk to us about it, and make sure we have it for next. What's up with the generator?
Well, I did submit it. I don't know why you didn't get it, but anyway, the radiator core is leaking on the main generator, and it needs to be replaced. And they recommend replacing it's the tank actually that's leaking, and to replace the core when you do the tank, because if you don't, he says 99% of the time that leaks, and then you have to go through ripping it all out again. It's about an 8-foot tall by 8-foot wide double radiator that's in an enclosed building in front of the generator that has to come out. We need to rent a generator for 2 days because it's a 2-day job to have on site in case something happened. And it's about $40,000.
To rent the
But
generator
it's not-
and the repair?
For the repair and the generator, yeah.
Okay.
It's a pretty big radiator. I wish you had the pictures. I'll make sure you get them. You can see it. It's pretty tight. It's going to be a big pain. But I want to get ahead of it before it's too bad. Within the next probably 3 months. Right now, it's
Did we
too
upgrade
much
that?
snow.
Did we upgrade that generator in the when we did the plant upgrade? I don't remember.
Yes, yeah. Everything was done in 2007. So everything's getting to be about 15, 18 years old now. So starting to
Yeah.
have these problems. But
Besides the weekly exercise, how often is the generator turned on? How often do you guys lose power? And what's the exercise, an hour?
it exercises for 15 minutes under load once a week. I would say probably in 15 years, we've probably maybe only a half a dozen times had to use it for an actual power outage. But it's like car insurance. You hope you never use it, but you got to have it when you need it. So.
Just sounds like a lot for a generator doesn't run a lot, other than being exercising once a week. Well, I guess you got to take 15 years times 52, and I tell you, for 15 minutes.
It's only got like 400 hours on it, but I don't know if it's from vibration or what. But there's actually 2 radiators. One's called a charge air cooler, and one's a radiator. One has water in it, one doesn't. One has to be removed to get to the other one. It's a big pain in the neck. So.
That doesn't sound right. 400 hours. Does that sound right for 15 years? Well, whatever. All right, keep.
Well, it runs about a half hour a week.
Yeah.
You know, so you said 15 minutes.
That's only 30 hours a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And we had to run it a few times. Remember, we were doing that power program where we would come off the grid and run it and get paid for it. We did that a lot too. So that would run for 2-3 hours at a clip there.
Maybe 400. Yeah, maybe 400 hours is reasonable. Then sounds right.
They're all about the same. All the pump stations, we run those every week too. They're all 300-400 hours. So.
Yeah.
That's about it, unless you got any questions.
Any questions for Garrett?
The work on a generator, is that, you have a vendor selected already, or does that go out for bid?
We have a contract with Cummins Power Systems because it's a Cummins generator. They do all our pump stations. They're on a 24-hour emergency response. It'll be a project handled by them.
Right.
Any other questions for Garrett? Hearing none, move on. Budget worksheet. So probably in February, March, we should have a special meeting. I don't have my calendar on me.
For the proposed budget 2022.
Yeah. Any time or of the day or work for anybody?
Well, our meeting's the 10th, second Wednesday,
Did we
March 10th.
Did we send one for that? We said it already?
Well, no.
Yeah.
I thought it's usually
Second Wednesday of the month.
second Wednesday of the month.
Oh, you're talking about,
Regular meetings, though.
I'm saying the
a
calendar.
regular
March.
meeting.
Yeah, regular meeting, right.
Yeah, the 10th. I mean, we can do it. I know you can't be here. We can do it an hour before the meeting, or we can pick another day.
How about a morning, 9 o'clock morning? Remember we had a few 9 o'clock morning ones before we did the 4:30? You know, if it's only a special meeting, right?
Yeah,
It's not the regular meeting.
yeah. Anybody have any suggestions? You wanna do on a Friday morning, Thursday morning? What City Hall opens at 8?
Oh, yeah. Six, we're open here at 6 if you want.
No, well.
Most of the time I go to sleep 6, after watching TV all night.
Anybody have some suggestions?
9 o'clock, 9 or 9:30, on Thursday or Friday?
So our next meeting is the 10th, so we can have it, the 5th, Friday the 5th, March 5th.
What time? 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
You got a Thursday, Friday, Michael, you wanna consider the Thursday in case we have snow. You have Friday as a buffer.
Huh?
They, very seldom do we close City Hall, but sometimes we open late, so the building wouldn't be open till 10.
I'm talking about March 5th. We're a month from there.
Yeah.
Worry about it if we get snow then.
Doesn't snow in March usually. We don't know.
Let's call it March 5th. It's a Friday at 9 o'clock for a special meeting for the, budget. Garrett, can you and Ed be there?
Yes.
March 5th.
March 5th, Friday at 9 o'clock. No sense, anybody wanna go over this? To me, this thing doesn't really make, let's move on. Let's, anybody has any question, the budget worksheet? Old business, Fuss and O'Neill status report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, hopefully you can hear me. The only item I have on my report tonight is reporting in on item B, actually, the crossroads. We did the engineer's review, technical review of the application. And thank you, everyone. Looks like you have a copy of that. I could go over there's 4 main recommendations.
All right, hold on a second.
Sure.
What did we talk about? What was our long-range plan for 2000, for this year and into next year, up to 2022? We've been talking about our long-range plan, and I thought I had it in here. I grabbed the wrong sheet. But
As far as updating the project list, I didn't bring an update of that for tonight. I could bring that though, send it to you after the meeting or in advance of
can you
next
bring
month.
up an update on that next month?
Will do.
And that's the priority list we have.
Great. I'll get that to you, later this week, since you'll probably want that in advance of your budget workshop, probably for discussion.
Send it to Ernie, and then Ernie can forward it to everybody.
Yep. Roger.
Any questions for Fuss and O'Neill? And then a couple things, Virgil, you and I have been talking about is tracking the sewer shed areas. So if you can bring that next month, the tracking of the sewer shed areas, that was not a part of the priority list, but we need to know, because I know that you're doing them in your application, which is perfect, and it's getting updated. So let's just make sure we get an update on this. I guess the answer to this is that you're doing it in your application for each one of these projects, so you're basically updating it then.
Right. We haven't really talked about it in a while though, so that might be helpful. But yeah, it is included in here, in the application.
So let's move on, if there's nothing else for folks, let's move to Crossroads, 5 big.
Okay. So we reviewed the application, the drawings and the application form, and confirmed that they had the right number of, units and so on, and their calculations were put in the new form. It's not really nice. we created the fillable form, and it runs and does the calculation, 6,300 gallons per day average flow coming from this proposal. And, we kind of filled in here, kind of has the usual standard form that we set up for following these. There's a lot of that information here, like you just alluded to, with, looking at the sewer shed specific flows and how the allocations are changing with, each new application that comes in. And there still is, bottom line, there's still, pretty fair amount of capacity available at the plant for the moment. This is in sub-area 9A, which is kind of right in the middle of the geographic center of the city, if you will. There's a figure in here as well that shows that. You need to see that near towards the end, I think. I think it's page 6. It's noted as page 6.
So part of this is gonna have to be, Virgil, and I know what engineers are gonna say, and I know what everybody's gonna say. I know what attorneys are gonna say. I know what they're all gonna say. They don't care what's left in the sewer shed area. Me personally, I do, okay? We'll never legally win that fight, because we had that fight 15 years ago with Avalon, and we lost it pretty quick. Because in the end, when you get to the bottom line and there's 1 million gallons still left over, it doesn't matter whether there's 10,760 gallons in sewer shed 9A left over. Again, this has been always the big bugaboo with me, because these sewer shed area flow allocations change monthly, quarterly, and yearly. So, but eventually at some point, we're gonna need to update this sewer shed area allocation, as you and I have been talking about.
Yeah.
And just for what it's worth. And I'm just gonna say for what it's worth, because it's not gonna change anything. All it's gonna do is just kind of let us know what's going on in each sewer shed area.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's maybe would be a good item to talk about as a separate item itself. You're right, because you have the ability to redistribute if you wish. Kind of reset the whole distribution of what the balance remaining. Probably, the more immediate concern, that we look at when we look at the applications are, is there, the hydraulic capacity of the downstream infrastructure is really more the
right
kind of the more immediate, evaluation. And, for this particular application, we didn't see any issues like that.
Okay, so let's go over your recommendations then.
Okay, so we have 4 recommendations here. They're summarized on the bottom of the first page there. First one reads, all manholes shall have inside drop structures, not outside structures. See attached detail, and I provided a detail here. That's the second or third page. That's just a inside drop, pretty typical detail that we've used before. That allows for a lot better. They last longer when they're inside, and you're able to maintain them if you need to get in there to maintain them. The second item, recommendation we have is reduce the pipe slope for sewer reaches manhole 8 to manhole 9. That should say MH, not MG. Sorry, there's a little typo. MH to MH8 to MH9 and MH9 to existing manhole. Reduce that to the maximum pipe slope recommended practice of 9%. It's in there at 15. We just want to recommend they change that. We'll have to make the manholes a little deeper. That's really not an issue. The third one is manhole 9 connects to an existing manhole that's located on the adjacent parcel over the property line. So we're requesting that they provide a copy of an executed sewer easement document for that portion of the sewer that's located on the property of others. Point being here that if they're showing a sewer line on someone else's land, that's not really addressed in their plans at all. So presumably that property owner will need to provide the Crossroads property owner with some sort of easement document.
Mr. Perry, do you have that? How did you get this project through without having an easement approval?
I talked to, the attorney today, the property was owned for such a long period of time.
Can you come up and talk, Ben, please?
Hi, Ben Perry, from your shelf, sorry about that. I actually spoke to the attorney about that today, and I talked to Tracy Lewis. We were looking for copies that Tommy Sims had forwarded over, but it was a paper copy, and it's somewhere in a file. I talked to Tracy, our Andy attorney, earlier today, so we're working on getting that document. Plus, on the 96 Long Hill Crossroads property, there is no sewer easement that we can find in favor of the city of Shelton. So that needs to be addressed as well.
And how close are you to getting either one of them?
I know the attorney's gonna be working on that, this week and next week.
Is it a week, a month, or a year?
However long it takes the attorney, I'm not sure of the schedule.
Okay.
This just came up when I got, I'm gonna be honest, this came up today when I got the paperwork. And, Tracy, when I spoke to Tracy Lewis, he said when he was doing his file research, he did not see a sewer easement in favor of the city of Shelton. So I can get back to you, or Ernie, probably by Friday morning with that answer.
Well, this is the project you started already, correct?
Yes, sir.
You ever hear of cease and desist? Yes?
For the record, Jim Swift. No, Tracy and I talked about this, when we started this project a long time ago. And, you know, there are easements shown on the, documents that we have and where we're tying into the manhole. This manhole's been there forever. It's the one that comes down, serves, I believe it's Cinto as well. We've been through this. The reason we're having trouble explaining it to you tonight is because it's been so long about this whole thing. We're gonna have these answers probably. We'll have it by the next meeting.
Okay.
And again, as you look at these documents, and you look at the engineering documents, the easements are shown. And I'm not in the habit of showing easements just off the top of my head, so.
Okay. What else? Keep on, what else? What's number 4?
Number 4 is really kind of a, when we include in all the applications, item 4 is more general. It says, follow the directives of the City of Shelton Sewer Department, designated representative/agent during construction. But particularly should there be any questions come up.
So what's the duration of the project?
Roughly about, should be about 3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Well, it's gonna be in 2 phases.
Are the 2 phases on this application?
2 phases.
So phase 1, so this is considered phase 1.
Yes.
So you're gonna come in later on with phase 2.
No.
Here's,
Step up, Mr. Swift.
I love correcting my client. He loves it too.
Tell him to sit down.
Now, the reason for the 2 phases is when, we're actually constructing, I'll go too far back. When we're actually constructing this project, we've got an issue, with crossing the water course, and how we're gonna manage to do that. Officially, this is not a 2-phase project. It's a 2-phase project for Ben, when he's dealing with the city engineer, and in the wetlands as to how we handle the stormwater management and things like that, because the stormwater management for, the construction on one side of the water course is actually built on the other side of the water course. So when Ben mentions that it's a 2-phase project, that's what he's talking about, that we have to find a way to organize that.
So at what point then do we just make, I mean, look, I'm not gonna tell you I don't believe that you're not gonna do anything. You know what I'm saying, Ben? All I wanna make sure is that we as the WPCA and the sewer administrator understands the 4 items and when we're gonna get them? And when do we say to you, stop digging, you can't go any further, or you're not gonna get your sign off from us? You know what I'm saying?
No, yes, I do understand that, but this was just brought to me today, and the situation with the sewer is because it's been on, the sewer has been on the sewer main in favor of the city of Shelton has been on the property for so long, has been there, but it's not documented in the
records, the title.
yeah, it's not located in the title search. That's why I said the attorney, this was just brought to me today.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was trying to convey to you.
Okay.
And as far as the second part of your question, which is the phasing and when the construction is gonna be, you know, we're giving the best estimates we can when the question is asked on the form. But, you know, as anybody knows in construction, you know, what should we do? Should we give you the quickest, fastest construction that we see possible, which might have something to do with how the WPCA sees the flows entering the plant, which is, I understand, your major concern, or do we stretch it out? We don't wanna stretch it out in a false manner to say, you know, 3 or 4 years, even though that might be our best guess. So, you know.
For me, that's not really the driving question, because you know as well as I do. There's capacity. It's just how do we allocate the capacity?
I understand.
It's a no-brainer, Jim.
Yep.
The only thing
We
is,
do the best we can. We you know, we have every hope that this project's gonna sell out. It's gonna be good.
again, for two people that are part of the city of Shelton, I don't worry too much about it. I know where to find you guys. My question is, how do we just make sure these 4 items are gonna get taken care of in a timely fashion, and just to make sure that we and you are following up on it. So I'm not gonna tell you that we're gonna shut your job down. All I'm saying is we're gonna make sure that if our engineer's giving us a recommendation, I wanna make sure that it's getting followed up on and it doesn't fall between the cracks. In the past, too many things have fell between the cracks, and this stuff is gonna have to start stopping pretty soon. Because documentation was not our strong point a while ago. And you can tell just by the application that you had to fill out, and a lot of thought and a lot of process went into that application. And Ernie being, you know, diligent, keeping track, and, you know, he's on me. Well, how do we keep track of it? Well, those are the things we're working out that unfortunately just never could get worked out. And, you know, I'm not gonna go any further with that. You guys know. So all I wanna make sure is that these 4 items are gonna be taken care of in a timely fashion, and you're getting Ernie involved for inspections, that these 4 items get taken care of, and then report back to us when you have easements. Come into the next WPCA meeting in 2 or 3 months and say, okay, here it is, guys, and just fulfill the obligations to us, that's all. All right? Any other questions on this?
So, Mike, I just to clarify then, so you'll actually you'll deal with providing an easement.
Yes.
Two different ones. One for the
Up above the.
the new sewer that you'll be installing that'll be off your property, as well as the sewer on your property. You'll provide a easement to the city of Shelton.
Absolutely, right.
And they'll probably both essentially be like 20-foot wide, centered on the pipe kind of easement minimum. Okay, that's terrific.
So just keep Ernie and WPCA on board in the next 2 or 3 months. Come to the meeting real quick, public participation or whatever, and say, guys, here's what we got, and then you can leave. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for you guys?
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Ernie?
Mr. Chairman, what's the disposition of their application?
Well, that's what we gotta work on now. We gotta prove it. Or deny it. So it's basically, they started without us anyway, but that's here nor there. So does anybody want to make a recommendation on Fuss and O'Neill's report?
So also move on that, Mr. Chairman. As long as the developer, which I think does, I wanted to just make sure that they are in agreement to do the four recommendations, not by tomorrow, but as soon as they can, or it's feasible for them. And on that point, I would recommend that we pass the application.
Okay, motion by Bill, seconded by Don.
Way around.
I thought you made the motion, no? Okay, motion by Don, seconded by Steve. How's that? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Mr. Chairman, for our records, who's on,
I was just gonna ask that question. Karen, you're there, right?
Hello.
We don't have Karen. Who else is on the Zoom call?
Garrett's there.
From the W? Who?
Garrett.
Garrett? No other board members are on the Zoom call.
Ashley, you're there, correct?
Nope. So note that the board members that are not here.
I think her
On the Zoom.
microphone's muted.
Mine?
No,
No, Ashley, she has a red, line through her microphone. It might be muted.
mute my microphone.
Who's Ashley?
I know she's there. She.
I am as well.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. All right, just
Yes.
note there's no board members.
Correct.
All right, motion passed, right?
Yeah.
Hmm? Ben, you're all set?
I am here.
Item
I'm here.
number,
I'm here.
who's I'm here?
I'm sorry.
Ashley?
Ashley, yes.
Hi, Ashley, nice to meet you.
That's the chairman, Ashley.
Ashley, you need me to identify myself. New, 6A, new business, Meadow Ridge Estates.
Mark?
Jim Swift, for the record, I'm a civil engineer. This is a new application. This is an application for a six-lot subdivision, off of William Street. It's a brand
Nice to
new-
meet you.
Sir?
Keep going.
It's a brand new subdivision, the R3 zone, brand new roadway, so brand new sewer. So obviously it would be, taken over by Wpca after construction of the roadway. There's nothing unusual or peculiar about this particular application, except for, one minor item. There is a house that was, on a septic system, we believe,
Number 85?
yeah, that this road is now gonna pass by, and naturally, we're gonna tie that house into the, sanitary sewer system.
Also 91, correct?
91 also too, right?
We believe that, we've got to leave, just take a quick look.
So you got 85,
In 91.
you got 85 and 91.
Yeah, existing structures.
85, we're pretty sure already has a connection into the sewer in William Street. But we're not exactly sure where it goes and how it goes. So we're showing a new connection to 85. And we're still trying to figure out whether 85 is on or it actually does have a connection. The other house clearly is on a septic system, and that's the end. Without a doubt, a new sewer connection into the main line.
91.
Okay, so you don't show that. There's water, sanitary, I got it, wrong page.
And Jim, I see you have you show it, an easement, utilities from 85 too.
That's correct.
One of these properties is the sanitary crosses the property line.
It does, yeah, he, and on the front sheet, he shows a, utility easement.
Crosses property number 1.
Right, yeah, you see on the front sheet there, he shows that.
Yeah, and that's the house that we're pretty sure already does connect through Hooker by Crook somehow down to William Street, but we're not exactly sure how. So, like I say, we're gonna clean that up, hook it into the new sewer along a new water line, out to the new road.
So you took the drainage easement and made a detention pond out of it?
Well, we
That-
made a detention pond, and then we place the drainage easement over it, yeah, that's.
Right.
And we've been working with Rims pretty closely on this, so Rims has a copy of these. We submitted this, plans to this, and to planning and zoning at the same time. So this is going to be a concurrent review, with planning and zoning and city engineer.
So there's not gonna be a zone change?
No zone change. Standards up.
Jim, is the, so 85 is not part of this subdivision, correct? This heavy line here is, that's the, so he's outside. Is there anything of,
Yeah, so that's correct. 85 is not part of the subdivision. That is the owner that's, selling us the property. So, you know, we have obviously agreements with him to. But technically that lot exists and is not part of the subdivision.
and you show here this existing right of way, that's part of his, the owner's land?
Actually, that right of way, exists as its own parcel. And you can read that, you know, I think if you look at, I think the intention is to grant that in fee to 85.
So is this the property line then right here? You say this is its own parcel?
Yes.
This would be the line right here?
Yes.
Regarding the connection of 85, we got a video of that. We could check that tomorrow.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I think we're going to, abandon that line in any case because, it's crossing other people's land. And this way we clean it up and we bring it, you know, directly in over its own.
I'm just thinking of Virgil doing the calculations for flow, you know, you're gonna count that as existing already, or would it be added?
30 has it in the
I did not.
calculated.
Yeah, I did not count it as a new connection. I counted 91 as a new connection.
You have
Even though that's not part of the subdivision either.
Yeah, but the
application has
structures cut in, so you did calculate it. Yes.
Oh, did I
Yeah.
use 8?
You have 8.
Okay, I guess in a,
So you did calculate it, yeah.
okay. And so that's correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over some of my questions. Is there an assessment associated with this project?
I'm not familiar with what you mean by an assessment.
Okay, well, then the problem is you didn't say yes or no. So I throw out the application right away.
Well,
Well, let me finish, then you can have your comment. Do you have engineering data to support your flow rates?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Where is it?
On the new application form that you, designed.
On the new application. You're telling me, so you're telling me you know that it's 210 gallons, okay, so that's right, all right, so you have 8. So that's correct there then.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to confess my ignorance here. I am not certain as to what is meant by an assessment. If the assessment is there going to be a charge for new connections to the sewer, then the answer to that question is yes. But I wasn't sure what was meant by assessment, whether it had something to do with.
But Jim, how long you been coming here for?
Well, not long
I
enough.
can't count long, yeah, right, well, come on, you have. Did you include, there's no equipment specifications, cut sheets, and engineering data to support your design? Okay, so, right now, if I really want it to be, you know, all questions must be filled in completely and accurately if they apply. So, I guess by rights, if I look at this whole thing, you didn't fill in the assessment. So if I want it to be really bad, I can say, see you later next month. But what I need you to do is, we're gonna take this in for review, give it to Fuss and O'Neill, and you're gonna have to just make sure you fill out this application correctly. Make sure that gets filled out as a yes or a no. So the assessment means if you're running a sanitary down Soundview, and Bronson decides that they're gonna put houses on, or some of the existing houses on Soundview are coming down the street, that they're gonna be allowed to tie in for a fee. That's the assessment. So you don't have that in this case. Your assessment is what you're paying us as a benefit connection charge. And the benefit connection charge is $20,800, and then Fuss and O'Neill will check that math. Since it's a new form, we're trying to make sure that everything works out correctly. It's got to be a no-brainer form. I wanted this form to be one of those things that it's pretty easy to fill out and understand. And I think we got pretty much there. All right, so is there any other questions for Jim? John, go.
Confirm that assessment, was no assessment.
It's no assessment. Assessment means, like I said, you're coming down Soundview and you got existing houses that are on septic that you're going to charge them to tie in. That's the assessment. Any other questions for Jim? Hearing none, we're going to take this. You know the process. You're going to have to give it to Fuss and O'Neill. They will figure out the fee for his review, and then you'll send the fee to the city of Shelton and come back next month.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, the applicant has paid the fee. The applicant paid the fee for the bus.
I got this a couple weeks ago, and I'm gonna pay with Ernie.
Thank you. Yep. Bills, no other questions in Meadow Ridge? 6B, bills rendered, Fuss and O'Neill, $3,480.
Make a motion, pass.
Motion from Bill, seconded by Steve. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Sewer Administrator's report.
Yes. Can I just get that motion? I'm sorry. Who?
Bill made, I got it, Ernie, I got it.
Bill, first?
Bill and Steve.
Yeah, and then Steve, second.
Steve, second. Thank you. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
On the, application for, Meadows Ridges, we're not doing any,
We approved it.
oh, we did?
We approved it.
Accepted it.
We accepted it
Oh, okay.
with these considerations.
With those four considerations?
Four considerations. And we're expecting the contractor to come in 2 or 3 months and let us know what the job is progressing and how he did with the easement. I mean, Bill, these are two guys that have been here for, as you know, a long time. I think we can go, if there's an issue, we can go knock on their door pretty easily.
That was, for Crossroads.
For Crossroads.
No, I'm not talking
No,
about,
he's talking about Meadow Ridge.
I'm talking about Meadow Ridge.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Crossroads I know is accepted.
Meadow Ridge.
Tonight, I thought you guys accepted the application.
I don't.
We
think
accepted, yes, we did. We voted on it.
On Crossroads.
We voted on this one.
Yeah, but what about Meadow Ridge?
That's
He's asking you if you're accepting Meadow Ridge.
I don't think we voted on that, did we? We didn't vote on that, right?
No, not another.
We did not vote on Meadow Ridge.
That's the one.
We just had 2 votes.
But you just had a motion for it.
Yeah, we just had a motion.
That was for the bill. Accepted it.
That was for the bills.
Yeah, that was
That was for
not
Fuss
another
and O'Neill's bill.
No, but we did it prior.
No,
No.
we didn't do it, right?
No.
I didn't think so.
Got it on tape.
Okay. Unless I'm getting old too. So where's,
That's the one we were just talking to Jim Swift about.
Yeah.
Because he said he didn't.
I think he's looking for a motion to accept it.
Well, I don't know, is it accepted or not accepted? That's why he's asking.
no, we don't, no. We don't make a motion, we're accepting it. We make the motion to accept it after That's why we never make a motion prior.
Okay, fine,
It's gonna be
We're just-
reviewed by Fuss and O'Neill, right?
It has to be,
Reviewed.
it has to be.
Then we accept it.
Then we accept it.
I'm sorry, okay, that's the step. We don't, yeah.
It's gonna be at least next month then.
It's gonna be approved next month,
That's fine.
or not approved next month.
Right.
I understand.
All right, good. You had me confused for a minute. I thought I'm getting that old.
the motions were to pay, the bills rendered,
Yes.
were, Bill,
I made the motion, Steve
seconded.
Right. 3480.
Okay. Sewer administrator's
Okay.
report.
Well, the city had requested, that the WPCA go out for on-call wastewater engineering services. So that's what's going on right now. They sent a request for quotes to, qualifications, sorry about that, to, various, contractors, engineering firms. And those, qualifications will be put before you in the March, 10th meeting. Second, the department is, we're working aggressively to try to locate each and every manhole and defining its disposition, whether, what this department needs to do. Do we need to raise the grade? Do we need to, whatever we need to do, we're trying to ascertain the disposition of each and every one of the manholes. And on top of that, when we locate these things, most of them are gonna be in, or some of them are gonna be in easements, and Pete is working very hard on mapping and giving us, graphic images of all these easements and what we need, what we're up against to actually clear them. Pete's been working very hard on getting the system that we use, it's called InfoNet, so that, others, i.e. myself, can use access to this, the data. So, I wanna give my hats off to Pete for really working his, very hard for, on all this stuff. The other thing is, I had to just go out for a corporate council to make sure about the legalities of clearing all these easements. Some of them go through people's yards that aren't cognizant at all that they have a pipe going through their yard. And, I'm right in the middle of that right now with, corporate council, waiting to get the, the wording on that. I'm trying to push the issue because, as far as I understand, this is a state of Connecticut deep mandate, and I'd like to, be able to turn to you guys one day and say, we've got everything up to speed. The only thing we need to do now is like linings and pipes and so on and so forth. But of course, as these things unfold, I'll be in close contact with, Fuss and O'Neill here and the board and our chairman. It's been kind of quiet. There's only been 2 new sewer tie-ins and 1 repair. And we brought in a young lady who's on the Zoom meeting tonight. She's going to be helping with the getting the minutes on time, and also she's helping index in our office. We're trying to bring during emergencies. I get a call from PD or whatever hour of the night is, and I've got to ascertain where these pipes are going through, and it's a hop. I'm going through folders. It's been a lot of work, working really hard with Pete to get 15 zones condensed into paper that I can look at during whenever these issues come up. And Ashley is helping index these, taking Pete's work and taking it a step further so we can graphically bring it up, immediately. And we're even going to go a step further than that and scan all this stuff so that our IT man Dan's going to put them on tablets for me in case I say I need, Coram Avenue. Give me a span of addresses, and this is where our problem is. Where does the pipes go in Coram? And I could bring up that tablet and save the old file system for a backup in case we just didn't have an electronic version of it. So we're making strides in the area of our department. It doesn't appear as much as a lot because we're kind of like going up in multiple directions at the same time. Next thing we're going to be doing is doing all the as-bills and indexing them to to be the same thing. We're putting them in books so that if an individual comes in and says, I'd like to know what, 54 Hill Street, where's the lateral for that, we'll be able to bring that up. Both the old way file system in these catalogs, and then on a laptop or desktops in the office. So we're making big strides there. And the last thing I want to mention to you folks is that the 2021 budget to 2022 that Michael's setting the special meeting for will be rendered at that time of that meeting. We're in the midst of that now, making that budget. So, and that's all this administration has for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a request. Got a call from a resident, and some people might know. There's a resident asking about 55 Jefferson Street.
Okay.
In Monroe Hill. It's Mr. Sylvester. He wants to know if there's something that can be done. I have not looked totally, but from what I can see from maps, there's nothing we're going to be able to do. But out of respect for any citizen that comes forth and asks us a question about a sewer system, I would like for you to do some research on it. Pete, 55 Jefferson Street. It's number 40, it's 55, and it has something to do with the property on 49 and 55. So if you can do some research on that with Pete, and bring it to the next, and let's get Fuss and O'Neill involved and figure out, if you can't figure it out on your own, email it up to Virgil.
All right.
And see if we can't get an answer for.
Sure.
What's the question, was it
Do you want
sewer there, or is that what you're asking?
There's a sewer there, and it runs through somebody, I don't understand the whole thing.
Well, look,
And it's been look, I'm respecting a citizen's request. I'm not telling you I agree or disagree with the request. All I'm hearing is that there's a sanitary sewer that runs through his property and somebody else's property and goes down, and I don't understand the whole thing. It's like, I was on Google Earth trying to understand them and look at it the other day, and I finally said, and it's been existing for 40 years. So my comment to Mr. Sylvester was, I said, this has been there for 40 years. Why are you coming now and asking about it? Well, I want to get it cleared up. I said,
he wants to sell the house.
well, I don't know. Probably. That's a possibility. So, out of respect for a request from a citizen, I don't care who it is,
No, of course.
let's research it and maybe if we can't get an answer by next meeting, maybe you send it to Virgil and see if he can't just give us a quick, here's the issue with 55 Jefferson Street.
Do you have the individual's phone number, so in case we have additional questions?
Did I take it? 924-1973.
We'll take care of this.
All right. Let's see if we can have some kind of answer by next month. I think quickly the answer is it's been like that for 40 or 50 years. There's nothing we can do about it. And that was my answer to him. We can't change anything now that's been done in the past.
Okay, we'll get to the bottom of this.
So that could be the issue. He's in the house. I don't know. And I'm sure, Pete, you can come up with something.
Sure. We get some maps.
Yep.
There's some other areas of that tie in near the golf course, we don't have maps.
And of course, that's the oldest section, is one of the oldest sections of town.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, Mr. Sylvester, we're not changing this. I highly doubt we're doing anything about it, but. Any other questions?
Yeah. The crossroads, how many units is that involved with that? Crossroads?
38, I think, 37.
38, what, two-bedroom, one?
Couple 2 bedrooms, I think there's gonna be 3, affordable units for senior citizens.
How many units?
3, I think. They're less expensive.
3 units.
They were less expensive, this would be the same price, but they're 3 units for,
What's the total,
I think it's changed, I think.
30 homes.
30?
30?
Yeah.
It says designated here,
Now, this is,
senior deed restricted dwellings, I don't know what that means.
Don, this is all, this is all housing, this isn't any commercial retail or anything.
No, it's all single-family homes.
Huh?
Single-family
single-family
homes, some
homes.
with two-car garages, some with one.
Any other questions?
Have item number 7, I don't know if you want to address it.
We have a 7?
Financial statement.
Hey, there's not much to talk about, that's how much money we got.
Well, speaking of that though, we never got one for December.
Financial statement, no, we did not, that's correct. So one thing that Ernie and I have been talking about speaking about the financial statement, is that, and Pete, I'm gonna, since you're just as good as I am on this stuff, Ernie and I spoke the other day about, because I feel, again, I gotta be careful how I word all this, but I feel that we were never able to track the flow of money from all these applications. So Ernie and I had a discussion the other day that, and I don't want to mess with this form. This form has a lot of work behind it. I mean, a huge amount of work. There's a lot of hours. And I don't want to squeeze it onto one page. I want to leave this page exactly the way it is. There's just too much involved in here. We can either do a separate form that gets attached to this, because I want to be able to track when do we get the final check for the benefit connection charge, what was the check number, and when was it received? Because what happens now is once we approve these projects, and I'm going to use this one, or I'll use this other one, Meadow or whatever. When it gets approved next month, what's going to happen is now I'm going to sign the bottom of the application, and then now it becomes in the hands of you guys. And then at some point at the end of the project, we're going to have to collect our money. Now I want to know, and Ernie wants to know, is what was the check number? When did we receive it? All that other kind of the financial portion of that check.
We have it in an Excel sheet, but we have to attach it for your, send it back to the
Right.
next time.
Correct.
That check comes at the end of the project or before?
At the end, some people have paid before,
Yeah,
the end of the project.
When they got wind that it was gonna go from $2,100
Right.
to $600.
Paid up front.
And paid
Yeah.
ahead
Pay
of
up front,
time.
okay,
Yeah.
save money.
They were ahead of it anyway. They were ahead of the vote anyway.
Okay,
He didn't have, his project was approved.
right.
But the point being more, Bill, is that we, sometimes or some of us, were never really sure what we received, when we received it. I wasn't never very comfortable with how some of this flow of information was coming to us, specifically, especially financials.
Right.
The problem was always, and that Tom did the calculation on the back of a piece of paper, and I challenged him a few times. Oh, but this is how it's going, blah, blah, blah. So that's one of the reasons we changed this application. I was never comfortable, and there were certain things that I could do with Tom and certain things I couldn't do with Tom. Tom Sim, the old sewer administrator.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I thought you knew, okay. The old sewer administrator had been here for 30 years.
Okay.
Him and I had a great relationship. I'd call him once a week, twice a week, and we'd BS for an hour on the phone, just about everything going on in the city, going on. I was just, certain things I can get him to do, and certain things
Right.
he just,
Yeah, I understand.
wouldn't do. So now it's a changing of the guard in a lot of ways.
Right.
And we've got somebody that's, Excel experience,
Right.
got a lot of other experience. I mean, in a lot of ways, he would have complimented Tom, and Tom would have complimented him, but that's how it works. It's, he passed away. So we're starting to now get other things that have been bothering me for years in order. Okay?
Just keep track of money.
Because one of the developers, and I won't name him, I was not happy with how it was handled, the money. And he got away paying a lot less than he should have been paying. And it was brought to my attention kind of quietly behind the scenes with somebody, and I won't say who it was, but, you know, and I was not happy with it. So this is an attempt
Right.
to make sure we're collecting our fair, and I'm gonna call it our fair dollars. Some things I didn't think were fair, what was being charged and how they were coming from us. You know, after a while, sometimes you just go like this, you know, you throw your hands up and it is what it is.
Well, Mike, you say you get paid at the end. I mean, a lot of these developments, the end is not really a very well-defined point in time.
Usually an occupancy permit triggers it.
That's our,
CO.
Bill. It's a CO, right.
That's when we're looking for our money.
Right. They cannot get the certificate of occupancy until.
That's correct.
The department signs that off.
That's right.
And we do have the paperwork that you're asking for. I didn't put it in the spreadsheet tonight. Michael's asked me, and it's just been like hex bells to get everything rendered and things. The next meeting, that paperwork that Michael's talking about, the spreadsheet, and I'll go back a year or so, so that it's attached to this physical thing, you can follow it right along. You know, we won't name the developers' names, but it'll be all that Michael's asking for will be there. You know, what the name of the project is, what the check, you know, when we received the check, the amount of the check number, so on and so forth. And you'll know.
And here's another tracking thing that I really wanted to make sure get implemented this time, and Ernie's is, I would always ask for just like you and I do, when we have started a new job, project number 20-235. Right. Soundview Avenue Estates. I want to know the project, I want to know the application number. I can never get the application filled out, so I can never really track money coming in from an application number.
Right.
As you and I do through our business, that we have to have a job number.
Right.
So I know when my client pays me, that it goes against job 20-230 for Soundview Avenue Estates or something like that. So that's some of the things that I want to really get cleaned up right now for better tracking with the project number. Now, didn't we put a project number on here, right? We're supposed to do it ourselves. Application number, sewer. So we're working on so the bottom of the page for city use only.
The application number, sure.
Yeah, so this is kind of something that Ernie's is starting to work on.
Right.
He'll put his own application number on here from his spreadsheet. And then when the project is approved at a meeting, and then he'll either give them to me at the meeting, or he'll call me, hey, Mike, can you stop by and sign these, so him and I, Ernie and I, and Pete can go over and say, okay, looks like they're all good. I'll sign off on them, because I want to sign off on every one of them. Okay? So that's how we're starting to handle this. It's cleaner. It's going to get cleaner. And just so you know, I'm going to be a stickler and I highlighted things in yellow. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to start throwing people out. I want this form filled out. Because for a long time, and Don brought it up a couple months ago, we had some wrong information on here. Okay, you know something? Guess what? He's right, and I've been right, and that we're all right. I'm going to start throwing people out of here.
Right.
Don't bother me. Come back next month. Okay, because it has to be, because to me there was too much ambiguity in the past, in some ways, and I felt, I won't say how I feel, but I just don't think it was right. I'll say it that way. Anything else? Hearing none?
Don has to make
You're tonight, it's you tonight.
I make a motion that we adjourn this wonderful.
Vote and so ordered, thank you. See you guys March 10th, right?
Actually,
March
Whatever day that was. Huh?
March 5,
Fifth? You're gonna send out reminders?
9
Ernest?
o'clock. Yes, absolutely.
March 5th, 9
I'm just
o'clock.
gonna be clear, 2 seconds is that, correct? Yes.
March 5th, 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
Thank you, Ashley.
Okay, so, around here, 5.
Zoom off.
so much.
How does that make you feel?
Where's that thing?
Can I have that, rubber band right here?
Yeah, take that.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, he told me. At his house.
When I close, my apologies, I'm just talking to Virgil about that. When I had asked him about doing the math, he did all math, he brought up just a couple things that were years ago.
That's why I wanna make sure he shares.
Okay, I did, but I'm not faulting Virgil, I'm faulting myself. I missed that myself. I missed that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Almost blown. I'll get you those things, so the serves out there, on that, cheers. We're coming back to.
Big job.
Squeeze the line.
He made time out.
Oh, yeah.
What was the problem, you know?
All right.
Ernie, you all set with me?
I'm sorry, Forty.
You set with me, or you good?
Yeah, everybody else, I got, is there a new?
So Leon called you?
Well, I told Leon and, I was giving it a shot by 30.
Well, yeah.
And then they said, yeah, college. Mike, the analyst to call him.
That's frustrating.
Hey, Pete.
I told Mike, and he called him, that's all I know.
I've asked him that a lot. Pete, remember to check out the corner.
What?
Was it supposed to be 5?
Yeah, this is, I will double check it tomorrow,
But he didn't have it. I told him, that's your job. Make sure, I've asked him that several times. When you look over in the, paperwork, what constitutes it. So it's 8 members, but here's the problem. And I appreciate, and look, you of all people, I appreciate Sean, I am not happy that we have 3 new members that are we have this guy Bill came in the night before, and I don't know who. I'm not gonna say too much. I know somebody. Mark, here's what Mike said. Quite frankly, I don't think, but it's bullshit that he's facing these guys. We come here and make $500 or $1,000. They were here the night before our meeting, Tuesday. Mike, you hear this? No. That's news to me. Hey, Bill, this new guy, whatever his name, Bill Yang, has never been here. And then this young kid hasn't been on Zoom. He was here for 1 minute.
You know,
I think John Pushkar's a decent.
that big old coil.
You know, he's caught up in COVID, I guess. I'm not gonna.